Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and a link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. But most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show increases the live audience, of course, and this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you are new to the channel or you have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Sleeping Warrior. How are you doing?
Good morning. All is well. All is well.
Good morning. Good morning. Exciting day. Conference later.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Me too.
Are you all set, ready to go?
I've got nothing to be set with, to be perfectly honest. There's nothing really for me to do other than show up and sit next to you while you do a PowerPoint presentation and occasionally nod, maybe answer a question or two. We shall see.
Yeah, but you do realise that you are making some kind of speech, right?
I'm expected what?
You do realise that you are making some kind of speech, right?
I'm sure I'll say words.
Sentences, not words.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Did you understand that we have a 30-minute slot, right?
I'm sure I can talk about the debates for 5 or 10 minutes without any particular issue.
Okay, that's fine. As long as you're aware and you're on the same page, that's fine.
Yeah. No bother.
So, yesterday, I had to get a job done on the car. It's weird. I've had this car for years and years and spent nothing on it. And in the last month, I've spent an absolute fortune on it. It's needed a new clutch, 800 quid. It needed 2 new bottom ball joints, best part of 250 quid, 200 quid, whatever it was, to get them completely done, both of them. And it needed, one of the injector seals was puffing out a little bit of compressed gas. Now, obviously, that compressed gas was meant to be pushing the piston down. It wasn't meant to be sneaking out beside of it. So I was losing a little bit of compression on one of the chambers. And it's one of those jobs that you don't really need to do immediately, but you do have to do it because otherwise it'll cause you an engine problem, a big engine problem, like as in engine dead problem, if you don't get it done. Anyway, I get the mechanic out yesterday, and I had a pack of 4 because they come in 4, set of 4. You don't buy them singly. And I gave him the pack of 4, not really expected him to do all 4. I only needed the one doing. But he said to me, look how bad this one is. So he took out the piston, the seal, and he showed it me compared to the new one. And I didn't even realize that they were on the inner circle. It's like a donut. It's like a flat donut. And it wears on the inner circle. And I thought it was the compression squashing it over time. And it's not. It's to do with the actual the circle on the inside that makes the seal with the injector. Anyway, he said, look, I might as well do the other 3 while you're here. He said, they're going to go at some point. You may as well get them done. I said, right, okay. Anyway, it took him like 40 minutes to strip down and get to the point where he's taking the first one out. Oh. And basically, we got to the point where he said, it's going to take me probably 40 minutes to get the other 3 out and get them swapped. You may as well do it. I said, okay. So literally 40 minutes, stripped everything down, got to the point where he's taking the first one out. He hasn't started taking it out yet. Takes the other 3 out. Took him about 15 minutes to take them all out. Straight out, put the new seal on. Back in, done. He said, this one's the awkward one, the one that was leaking. Covered in crud, because this compressed gas is like unburnt diesel. And he starts tidying it up. And honest to God, it was a mess. Anyway, gets the job done. And he says to me, right, he says, this is the awkward one. He said, I'm going to need you a lift. I'm going to need lift here. And I says, okay. So he gets his pry bar out, gets underneath the injector, and we're both wiggling on it, wiggling it on it, wiggling it, trying to release it because it's got all this crap built around it and it shouldn't be there. So it just makes it awkward to get it out. Anyway, he gets it out, and about 20 minutes it took him just to get this one out. It took him 20 minutes to get all the other 3 out, put new seals on and put them back in. It took him 20 minutes to start to get this thing moving. Pulled it out, and you should have seen the dirt on it. It was unbelievable. And I was so embarrassed and ashamed because I'd only just started noticing it going in the last month or so. So, I mean, I acted on it like pretty much straight away. But it was obviously blowing for some time. And literally, it was caked in crud, got it out. It was all messed up, horrible. Cleaned it all up, puts it all back together. Job done. 60 quid on labour, which I thought was a bargain. And he says to me, he says, right, he said, this isn't going to start straight away. He said, we're going to have to give it a bit of persuasion. And I said, right, okay. He said, when it does start, he said, you can expect a big black plume because all that dirt that's been in the hole has dropped into the engine area. He said, and don't be alarmed. He said, it's normal. He said, when you drive it, it'll all clear up and it'll all be fine. He said, but don't be put off by the initial startup. He said, it won't go easily. And when it does start, it'll be smoky as hell. And he said, it's just to be expected. Now, I knew this anyway. I said, don't worry, it's fine. Just let's get it going. So he gets it going. Biggest black plume of smoke you've ever seen in your life. Left a big black soot mark on the front of the house, which I now got to get the power washer on. And he says, right, it's running. He says, take it around the block. He said, when you first drive it, he said, it'll be dead sluggish. So anyway, I gets in it, drives it around, and he was right. It was groggy as heck. It was horrible. Anyway, it started to improve as I was driving it, and it's basically beginning to bed these seals in and get rid of all the crap that was in the combustion chamber, because it'll all be in there, sat on top of the piston. It needs to burn off. It needs to go out through the exhaust. Car was all sorted. Happy days. Drove it round. It needs fuel now, but it's ready to go now. And I didn't want to go down Birmingham without having this done because I didn't want it to lose its compression on one of the cylinders. But I had it all done, and I got all 4 done, and I wasn't expecting to get all 4. I was only expecting to get the one that was knackered done. But anyway, cutting a long story short, the job was completed, engine put back together, happy days. So now I'm all ready to go. I'm just waiting for my laptop to finish doing its Windows updates. Took hours, literally hours. Windows updates suck.
I'm surprised, really. The engine's quite a big mass, so surely the mass alone of that engine block would contain the pressure, no?
Yeah, the diesels make a huge amount of compression compared to a petrol engine. So over time, the injector seals start leaking on diesels. It's not that common on petrols, but on diesels, it's quite common, especially if you're heavy-footed, which I can be, because it creates a lot more compression than what petrol engines do. So over time, they are a consumable. They do wear. But ultimately, it was leaking up past the injector, and it was chuffing out the side of it, which puts black like soot everywhere. It's horrible. But obviously, when you see it and you do it, and it's like, all right, let's get it sorted. It was really messy. It was prized in there, but it was a case of I needed to do it. It needed to be done in time for the convention because I need to go down Birmingham. I don't want to break down on the way down to Birmingham, on the way into Birmingham traffic at rush hour on a Friday. So I just didn't want to do that. I said, right, get it done. So he came round, fixed it, sorted it. Purrs like a kitten now. There's no soot on it. This is the other thing. Prior, when it started to chuff out this stuff, put your foot down and there'd be like a plume of black smoke coming out the exhaust because that's unburnt fuel. Why it's unburnt, who knows? But I think what was happening was it was letting in, or it was letting out air through that compression chamber. It wasn't building up enough air to combust the fuel properly. And then obviously putting your foot down, it just comes out the exhaust as black soot because it's not burning properly. Now all that's gone. It's now completely fixed. And I'm like, right. So it's not only fixed the chuffing injector, it's got rid of the black smoke that was coming out the back when you put your foot down. Happy days. I'm all right with that. So I'm just feeling good now because I'm going to go and fill it up with fuel. And then my economy will be back and the performance will be back and it'll feel like it's loved again. And I'm like, yes. Oh, it feels good.
You kind of missed my Globe Earth reference, but there we go.
Oh, did I? What did you say? Sorry, do it again.
The engine's got quite a lot of mass and is a pressurized system. So surely the mass of the engine would contain that pressure?
Yeah, I did. I thought you were going to say something along them lines with the mass comment. I was going to mention something about gravity, but I decided not to bother.
I mean, you almost hijacked the joke, but instead you just moved on and ignored it.
Well, I thought it was a joke initially, and then I thought perhaps not. But I'm just dead chuffed that I had the engine repair done because it needed it, and I wasn't comfortable doing a decent journey in it because it was getting bad. So
fair enough. I can tell by your tone that this was no laughing matter.
No, it's serious. I mean, it's a serious matter. So I'm impressed, satisfied, looking forward to a nice run out on the motorway. Get up at night, a nice bit of hot gases running through it. Can't wait. Got me my thingy sorted. My presentation's pretty much sorted. All Excellent. Is good. Hello, phone is ringing. So bear with me.
So yeah, in case you're unaware, we've plugged it the last few days, maybe even a few weeks, but tonight, being the 27th, Friday, 27th of April 2018. We are at the Flat Earth Convention, and if you want to check out the website or buy a ticket, it's www.flatearthconventionuk.co.uk. We will be on stage, as it were, at about 8 o'clock this evening. Anthony's got a little presentation put together. I've got absolutely nothing put together, but I'm sure I'll come up with something on the spot. So yeah, check it out. Hopefully we'll see a few familiar faces down at the convention. Looking forward to seeing Martin. Haven't seen him for quite a while. Along with a few others. Gary I haven't seen for a while either. Last time I saw him was in Wales. Show organiser. Conference organiser. Shouldn't really call it a show.
Shout out to Rig. Claims I know nothing about cars. Well, actually, I do. Talking out your bottom there, Rig. Don't know why you would say that when you know nothing about whether I know cars about or anything about cars or not. Typical baller. Oh, Rig, how do you feel about your mate was turning to the dark side? I believe he's become a flat earther. Have you heard that rumour, Nath?
You asking me?
Yeah, you're Nath, aren't you?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I mean he said it in chat. How true he is, but he seems to have said it on multiple occasions now. So
yeah, was has become a flat earther, Rig. Must feel like your daughter when she goes out with her first boyfriend at the age of 16, eh? Your mate's gone. He's joined the dark side. So, Rig, why don't you join the panel and tell us all about stuff that you can prove? You know, shape of the earth, any evidence that goes with it? Or is it just a religion? A belief? Trust?
I said the same to unortho_x or unorthodox, but spelt weirdly. He's got about 7 subscribers, but is actually producing content. So tip of the cap to you, my friend. Good that you're producing content. You just assert quite a lot of nonsense, and I know you watch the show, so jump on. Tell us about your nonsense. Let's see how well it stands up to scrutiny.
Yeah, Rig believes. I say it and you don't believe me. Yeah, saying it don't make it true though, does it? Like my mate who's a cop, who's asking all the right questions. And because he's a cop, I can say to him, well, you wouldn't lock somebody up just because somebody else tells you that they've committed a crime, would you? And he was like, maybe. And I was like, well,
maybe.
on the basis of the arrest, you would have to say on suspicion of, correct? And he'd say, well, yeah. He said, but I don't need any evidence initially to lock them up. I said, no, but you do need to have reasonable grounds to believe that an offence might have been committed. And is this word enough for you to give you reasonable grounds? He said, it depends on the circumstances. And I was like, okay. I said, well, let's just say, for argument's sake, it was a murder. And somebody told you that it was like me, for example, and you came round and would you arrest me just because somebody had told you it was me? No. Well, there you go. Why would you believe anything about the shape of the earth unless you'd seen something to prove that it's true? I said, what evidence have you seen that satisfies you that it's true? And he thought about it, and there was a pause, and I waited. And sometimes, like Nathan says, sometimes it's the pause that's valuable, and I waited. And he looked at me, and he was like, I haven't ever seen any evidence that it's... I said, there you go. So just go look into it. And he's like, I haven't got time. I said, yeah, there you go as well. I said, that's the reason why most people believe it. They haven't got time to look into it. So ultimately, he's asking all the right questions. And then when he found out I was going down Birmingham today, he was like, I hope that's not for what you think, for what I think it is. And I was like, yeah, you should come with me. I said, it might wake you up, dude. And he just done that face palm thing where he, you know, the icon. And I was like, yeah, let's see. Give it a month. He'll be on my side. But cops are great targets, right? You can tell them about their own job and say you wouldn't arrest somebody just because somebody told you there was a crime, would you? And no copper would do that. They probably wouldn't even investigate it if it was word of mouth.
Yeah,
You'd have to get really persuasive.
That's why Math Powerland's argument is always one of the strongest arguments you'll get in Flat Earth, which is you're saying it's based on evidence. If you're asking a copper, then obviously you're asking him based on the evidence that he's presented with, and you wouldn't convict somebody based on what someone had told you just on hearsay. You'd actually look for some physical evidence of the crime being committed, which is your point, and I get it. But the evidence that a police officer could hold up to you, if you just Googled it, would be a picture of the Earth, right? We talked about it yesterday. The actual photograph, the blue marble, 1972 picture, photograph of Earth from space. You'd hold that up and go, well, there's your evidence. Well, Math Powerland's point has always been the same. You never get that point of view. You will never see the Earth from space. You only have the image. That's your only basis for understanding what the Earth looks like from space. And it's a painting. It's not a picture. They claim it's a photograph, but it isn't. But yeah, most importantly, you'll never get that vantage point. You'll never see it like that.
I wonder how long it'll be before I get this cop asking me more questions. Do I go back to him and start presenting it and preaching like a Jehovah's Witness, or do I leave him to it and he may never come back?
I would say leave him to it. You plant the seed, and for some people, the red pill, blue pill analogy is quite good, because for some people, they don't want the red pill. They want the blue pill. So if that's the case, some of them will do what we see on the panel, which is they fight against it, whereas some people just want to stick their head in the sand. Well, I'm sure that's not really the case. I don't want to look into it. I'm happy and content in my understanding of the Earth, and then they move on. And if that's the case, yeah, you will be like a Jehovah's Witness knocking on their door every day, which no one wants that.
No.
Everyone's entitled to their belief. That's the bottom line here. I'm sure I've seen it in comments where you've referenced me and said, look, I'm sure Nathan would be less annoyed with you if you actually admitted that you had a belief, that you didn't doggedly assert it as reality when you don't know. It's just your belief. And that's correct. Tim Osmond and I actually get on reasonably well because he's content to admit that. He says it's a justified belief. And everyone's entitled to their beliefs. I'm not here to change people's belief systems. If you want to believe in Allah, if you want to believe in God, if you want to believe in the spinning ball Earth, good for you. More power to you. What I will point out on the show is that I've discovered something different, and it's based on my own understanding and my own visual evidence and my own experience in the Earth or on the Earth. I've seen the Earth and it's flat, and you look into it and investigate it further through observation, and it is flat. And many of the ball Earth arguments start with the disclaimer that it may appear flat to you. However, well, in that first sentence, you start with the baseline assumption, which is what you see, what you have in your ability to actually take in cognitively, and that's that it's flat.
Right, I want to address Mercury Messenger 7. He is a troll. Let's just check how many subs he's got. Oh, no, he isn't. He's got 104 subs. I always considered you to be a troll. On that basis, 104 subs, I'm going to give a little bit of weight to this comment he's put. I'd like to see you take on Randall Carlson. He destroys flat Earth with his cosmic patterns video. Numbers and symbolism coincide with the Earth's shape in the universe. So you draw a correlation between numbers, symbols, and patterns and claim that references the shape of the Earth and the universe. Let's see this stuff. Give me somewhere else to look, Mercury Messenger. And we'll do it now. Let's share screens. Share my application window for that. Nathan, would you put me on screen? I've just typed in his name into Wikipedia or Google, and just looked on the Wikipedia link to see what this guy's about. American architect, geological theorist, and anthropological theorist. So basically, he's an architect, right? And a theorist, that sounds like Arwin, and another theorist, that sounds like Arwin. And so basically, from an architectural point of view, I wouldn't challenge him. But for the theoretical element to his work, well, let's see what he's got. He is a proponent of the controversial Younger Dryas impact hypothesis, originally proposed that a large burst or Earth impact of one or more comets initiated the Younger Dryas cold period about 13,000 BP, calibrated years ago. The hypothesis has been constructed by research showing that most of the... Right, okay, that sounds like a theory. That sounds like one of those theories that there's going to be zero evidence to support it, and anything that is to support it would be circumstantial at best. So on that basis, I can pretty much stop with that one, unless you specifically tell me to look there. Anyway, he's theorized about the extinction of historical advanced human civilizations, and where have we gone? Carlson founded Sacred Geometry International, which focuses on a range of controversial theories, as a website and Facebook page. Carlson's theories have not been peer-reviewed or published in any scientific journals. He has appeared on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast multiple times, sometimes accompanying Graham Hancock. See, this is where I question the credibility of the evidence cited, because if you guys claim that it has to be peer reviewed before it's considered credible, I would then ask the question, well, why would you then cite somebody that's not been peer reviewed? Because that wouldn't be accepted by current science. So to claim that he debunks anything would be interesting, because if science hasn't peer reviewed him, then that's not really credible, is it? At least our work is peer reviewed. Thanks to the ballers, our work is peer reviewed. It's been reviewed by our peers, and that puts me higher up in the credibility evidence stakes than it does him. So perhaps if our friend here, Mercury Messenger, could tell us where to look with regard to this gent. Am I looking on YouTube, I'm assuming? So if I go to YouTube, type in his name. Oh, let's copy his name. Randall Carlson. If I copy that, dump that into YouTube, let's see what comes up. Sacred, right. So what was the word that he used? Cosmic patterns. So on the fly, we're going to have a look at this guy and see why there's an issue with him. So Randall Carson's epic cosmic patterns and cycles of. So this is the claim that this proves the shape of the Earth. I like this. I've seen this before. If this is what I think it is, this is going to be.
Sorry, what's this supposed to be proving?
Now, this has got to be something to do with the shape of the Earth, but I'm not sure where he's pointing me, because I've not seen. I'm just going to see if he's responded. Play his third video. All right. When you say his third video, do you mean his? Can you give me the name of the video so that I know which one that you're referring to? Because do you mean his? It's a bit raw today because obviously a lot of the ballers will be in bed, but we'll have a lot more time. I'm not sure which you mean by third video, but shout out to Cigar Face. Go on, Mercury. What's the name of the video? Let's get it on.
It's his third video in the Cosmic. What did he say? Cosmic video series?
Oh, in his playlist. Cosmic Patterns and Cycles of Catastrophe. It must be that. His third video there. Geological evidence of catastrophic flooding. Is that what you mean? There was another reference I saw there. Epic Cosmic Patterns and Cycles. It could be this one. Blu-ray preview 3 of 8 presented by Cosmic Patterns and Cycles. This must be it. It's difficult to know what you're talking about when he's not actually responding. Third video on the Cosmic Video series. Right, okay. So third video on the Cosmic Video series. So I'm guessing the playlist, Cosmic Videos.
I mean, if you think this is proof of something, Mercury Messenger, join and tell us. Don't get us to fumble our way through your proof.
I'm guessing it's this one, based on what he's saying in text. Right, and this is the one where there doesn't appear to be any evidence at all. It looks like it's all rhetoric. Oh, hang on. Maybe something here. So he's looking in numbers. Right. I think Mercury Messenger needs to join, but you're with family right now. Yeah. You're with family, but you can still play on the internet, can't you? Nathan's with his family. He manages to get on. Well, I think I've given it a fair crack of the whip without having the ability to respond it's difficult to have an interaction with you. But I think I've had a go at it, and I didn't see any evidence whatsoever other than a bit of numerology. And if that's what your evidence of the shape of the Earth is, then hey, all good for you, my friend. For me, I like something a little bit more tangible. So,
Hello.
hola.
Hola, mi amigo.
Well done for joining. Speaking straight away, it stops you getting kicked.
No worries.
What can we do for you this fine English morning?
I just thought I'd join in on the old convo. Listen to you every day, so I thought I'd jump in.
Happy days. So what's your position, my friend? Are you on the flat side or are you on the ball side?
Oh, I'm definitely on the flat side, me, mate.
Good. And
100% flat.
What evidence satisfied? What was the reason for why, in a sentence, what was the reason for why you rejected and denounced the ball?
P900.
Yeah.
Pretty simple, really. Once you get hold of one of them cameras, mate, it all just falls apart.
Bankers?
Unless you obviously like denying facts.
Sorry, bankers. I did speak literally as I pressed the button, but you've got to be quick because we have had numerous troll accounts join and literally. So bankers got kicked by me. I apologize, bankers, if you were a genuine guy. You just got one of those names that doesn't look like it's a sincere kind of guy. But anyway, so the P900.
What's the subject today then?
Nothing. There's never really. It's really here for people that have a view on the shape of the Earth to come on and present some evidence or at least views on the shape of the Earth. But they keep seeming to stay away at the moment. They're claiming it's a protest on the basis that Nathan's rude to them. Well, it's probably more accurate to say that they don't have any evidence and they demand that we accept that they don't have any evidence because they need it based in rhetoric. They need it based on scientific consensus. But when it comes to actually proving their views, it's unbelievably lacking. A lot of it's historical.
It's all just maths and paperwork. There's no actual physical evidence because, like yourselves, I've been looking for it for years. Like I've been onto this 3.5 years coming up now.
Yeah.
And I got my P900 well over 12 months ago. I got it like 18 months ago, and ever since then, like you only have to go to the beach once on a clear day.
Yep.
And it just blows the ball away completely.
But there's no such thing as a clear day if we live on a ball.
Yeah.
Them clear days are the days where the refraction is just enough for it to be flat.
Oh, God. I'd like to see like a physical scale of the refraction, scientifically measured, a proper scale of refraction, not just to say, oh, this is non-standard refraction, or, oh, what was the temperature? Then it could possibly be X amount of refraction. There needs to be a scale. If they're going to use it, they need to have a scale, like a reference, a guide, what we can that we can look at and say, look, the temperature was this on this day. Refraction is going to be this. We've proved it by X. But no one seems to be able to do that. It's all just talk and all the maths that doesn't say it's right, or it's just craziness like all the time.
Yeah. I had a conversation in text with the Rumpus last night. I was reminding him that we're going to reveal the video that's getting revealed to the conference tonight. We're going to reveal that on Nathan's show on Saturday if he can attend. If not, we'll do it on Sunday. But in any event, I want Rumpus to be there. And I asked him, I said, can you just give me a straight yes? You know what Rumpus is like. He doesn't give a straight yes or a straight no to anything. I said, just give me
he's like a politician.
Yeah, he is. He's just like a politician. I said, do you understand that I'm not asking a rhetorical question here? Do you understand that if you have 3 apples, I cannot actually take 5 from you and for you to end up with -2 apples? Do you actually understand that? And he says,
you can on paper.
He says, you can in maths, but you can't do maths. I said, yeah, you can only do it in maths, but you can't do it in the real world. And then he said, in fact, I suspect that you have never done a maths formula in your life. Well, unfortunately, if your basis for the shape of the Earth is mathematical, then yeah, you're always going to make it into a ball, no matter what.
This is it. All the maths has been designed around the ball. It's like explaining an observation, but what they don't realize is maths can't create an observation, and that's what they're trying to do. Like they're trying to use the maths as a physical observation when it can't be.
The other thing that they do is because maths is an explanation, they accept the explanation is proof.
Yeah,
they accept that is the proof, and of course it isn't. It's just numbers. It doesn't explain anything. It literally explains it with numbers. It's the adult version of painting by numbers. That's what math actually is. Of course, they don't understand it, but that's what their position is.
It's all just very sad, and it's. I think everyone should be working in order to prove something rather than trying to disprove what each other are just saying. Like everyone should be working to try and find physical evidence, no matter what it is. If it's, if it's of physical evidence of us living on a spinning ball or physical evidence of us living on a plane, like everybody needs to work towards it. So we've actually got physical evidence rather than just talking.
Wow. Physical evidence is something that they don't really have a lot of. They have a lot of rhetoric. They have a lot of dogma. They have a lot of, basically right-wing views. Andrew?
Yeah, this is it. And
Andrew? I'm guessing that Nathan did that, right?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
It's just too dodgy.
I'm just going to have to mute you for 2 seconds, mate, because I'm in work here. I'm just...
No worries.
Yeah, just chat when you can. Don't worry.
Keep my space in the chat, though. As soon as I get a minute, I'll be back over.
No worries.
No worries.
All right, okay, cheers.
So, I'm just... Are
you stopping in a hotel tonight?
No. Are you?
No, hell no. It's only around the corner. I keep saying. I know you say it's not around the corner because it's half an hour drive, but it's still, nowhere near justifies a hotel. I've driven back from Scotland to avoid staying in a hotel.
Right.
Yeah, I generally don't stay in hotels if I can possibly avoid it. When I was a rep, I'd drive for 18 hours solid across Europe to get home, so I didn't have to stay in a hotel.
Yeah. They're not fun. I'm just putting the last couple of slides. The last one slide. And I'm gonna quote the Rumpus, unfortunately. He's gonna get an honorary mention because it concludes nicely the point that I'll be finishing within the conference today. It's true what Nate says. At the end of the day, you can choose your religion. And if you want to accept and believe that we live in a ball, at least accept that it's a religion. It's not actually factual.
Yeah, you sent me a message which implied yesterday that you were listening to the same Flat Earth Court session that I was listening to.
Our read-earthers on the griddle.
Say again?
Does anyone want a butty while read-earthers on the griddle?
I'll have a bit of Globies on toast, please.
I have a globe head to dip my toast in.
Yeah, a bit of poached globe so I can dip my soldiers in it. I'm going to really enjoy today.
Still there?
I'm still here, yeah.
So you're just going to do your session and then drive back and get home at midnight?
Well, yeah, because I've got 3 dogs to look after, and I've got I haven't really got anywhere to look after my dogs at the minute, and that is an issue. I also have work to do for tomorrow, and I've also got housey stuff to do tomorrow because we're in the middle of that carpets thing. So I do have commitments to do like on the Saturday and on the Sunday, and I just can't make the 3 days. I can't even do 2. So for me, the best of the compromise, really the best would have been Sunday, but there was no gaps on the Sunday. So Friday was the day where it could be fitted in. And of the 3 days, Friday's the middle one that's the most convenient for me. Saturday's the worst one for me. So yeah, I've got to go and do what we do, spend half an hour or so afterwards, and then make like a tree and leaf.
Fair enough. I mean, I'm going to be doing exactly the same, for similar reasons, just humans rather than dogs.
What was the point you were going to make then? I was obviously listening to the same.
Well, they went through, from a philosophical point of view on Flat Earth debate, what a religion really was. Did you hear that bit?
No.
Yeah, Cathexis was defining it for Gem Panda, who got extremely annoyed when it came down to the actual definition of a religion matching what he has with the globe. He didn't like it one bit.
Yeah.
And they don't, pointing out that you have a religious belief, and when someone like Jem, who understands his singular belief that he doggedly asserts, when he understands this and explains that you have to start with baseline assumptions, that was his statement. And you're like, you don't have to start with baseline assumptions. In philosophy you do, but that's not what we are talking about. You know, we are talking about reality, what the actual shape of the Earth is, as opposed to starting with baseline assumptions.
Yeah. It's interesting how it really is the case that flat Earth is all the awkward questions. You know, it's like you can either have the comforting lies of the ball, or you can have the awkward questions of the flat plane that we seem to live on. And the awkward questions are, why isn't there evidence that's beyond any doubt whatsoever that we live on this little spinning ball? And it's embarrassing that the education system can create this scenario where people that are fully grown adults are questioning the shape of the Earth. Why is it the case that anybody questions it? It's embarrassing. We shouldn't exist. It should be so blatantly obvious that it's a ball. The evidence should be watertight. Nobody should be like even challenging it.
That's part of the methodology of the ball, to make out like we don't exist, like we're a tiny, tiny group of people and we are all kooks and idiots. That's what they try and make out.
Let's stick Rude Earther on mute for a minute whilst he's doing what he's doing.
Yeah,
But
the standard position is ridicule. That is the baseline position. If you come across flat Earth, it is ridiculed by standard practice amongst anybody who is in the normal Western world, because they've been programmed with it from childhood. You know, they've been programmed to understand that we live on a ball, and that the concept of flat Earth is something that is the concept of Philistines.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, I've said it numerous times. I don't actually enjoy being a flat earther. I do enjoy the debate side of it. I enjoy the mental stimulation, and I enjoy the tactics and the psychological warfare that does take place. There is a psyop in place. Which psyop is it, though? Is it on our side or is it on the ball side? It's for you to decide. But I do enjoy the debate side of it, but I don't enjoy being a flat earther because it is the ridicule side of it. But on the other hand, all I want to know is, what is the real shape of the Earth? It shouldn't be that difficult. With all the money, time, effort, experience, skills, personnel, all the stuff that NASA get, they should be able to put this to bed. It really is the case that they can put this to bed if they want to, but are they deliberately not doing? Is there a market for it, or is it more the case that they can't because we don't live on a ball and they have to make it that way? It's difficult to know what the reality actually is until you see it.
So yeah, check out Isa Mahalski's channel. Flat Earth Court is the show. If you want to hear that philosophical discussion between Gem Panda, Cathexis, and Isa. Fascinating conversation that it was. So we've got Lenny Harry in the chat. Where was his comment? See if I can find it. Gone already. Can't see it.
Luke,
something along the lines of, "You're a science denier," right? So Lenny Harry, jump on the panel. The link's in the info box, and provide us with your scientific evidence for a sphere Earth. Can't wait to hear it. Oh, Sniper managed to get both my panel members. Only half an hour into the show. Marvellous. Welcome to the show. Yeah, you don't know. Be a short interlude while I get a couple of my guests back, hopefully.
Yo.
Hello again. I'll leave it 5 minutes before I put the link out, I think.
He was quick, to be honest. I thought you'd removed him. I didn't even notice him join the thing, unless my screen had froze.
Nah, just quick on the old mouse button. So yeah, well done for causing a 90-second gap in the stream. Well done, excellent achievement.
So is Lenny coming on?
Let's hope so. He's now asking me about something I believe. It's like, yeah, we're not here to examine my beliefs either. We're here to have presented to us by you your scientific evidence to prove your belief in a spinning ball. That is the accepted consensus.
Send in the link privately.
I'll stick it out in 5 minutes.
Tell you what, I'll send in the link privately and then see if we can get the because I've seen him in chat a lot. I always assumed he was a troll, but he has some subs, so he's not actually a troll. He's just a moron that. Well, let's see what his views are. Lenny, where are you? He hasn't commented for a while. Scrolling up. Lenny Harry, there you go. Go to channel. He's got more than 1,000 subs. So, about page, message. I am not a robot. Send message to Lenny Harry. Next, enter your message. Paste the Skype link or the Hangout link and send. Lenny now has a personal private invite to join us and tell us about his views on the shape of the Earth, to which I'm looking forward to asking him what evidence has he got for these. Lenny
says, you are the dancing entertainer. How dare you demand anything of me, Nathan Oakley 1980? Well, Lenny Harry, we're not demanding anything of you. We're asking what 2,000 years of spinning Earth belief has provided you from science, which is what you claim I deny. So, you also brought up something to do with God and me saying that I don't think God and science jive. Yeah, we can discuss that too, my friend. Jump on. Make sure you bring along with you some evidence that is scientific in nature that we can have a little look at.
And if you're not going to try and argue that the Earth's a ball, at least give us the evidence that you accept that makes you believe that it's a ball, just so that we can look at it and, laugh. It's interesting because...
We'll see if he joins, but I don't think so.
No, Lenny Harry won't join. And if he does, it'll be great. I really would like to speak to you because I've seen you trolling me for a while. And now it seems that you're trolling Nathan. Might have been trolling Nathan all this time. I don't know. But I'd like to see what you've got to say for yourself because you're a bit like Rumpus. You're just generating a scene.
Dedicated fan. That's not trolling. Thank you for your support, Lenny. Really appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in and all your comments. Really appreciate your support.
So he says, audience being played. I come here for the free comedy. It's all a show. It's just comedy. Yeah.
Yeah, until you get asked for some scientific evidence of your spinning ball religion, then suddenly it ends so funny, right?
I wonder where that comedy comes from, though, because it's like Lewis said. I looked at your first ever hangout, like Flat Earth Debate 1, and Lewis was the first guest. And throughout the hangouts, Lewis has said in the past,
that's not
you
true.
Do realize that they make the show.
Tim Osman was the first guest.
Pardon?
I thought Tim Osman was the first guest.
Nope. No, Lewis came in before Tim did.
Did he really?
Yeah, he was in for about 45 minutes before Tim came in.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I always thought it was Tim. I'll have to watch Flat Earth Debate 1 again.
Yeah. You were basically sat there in a very neutral position, trying to be very accommodating to them. And
how times have changed.
One of your statements was, I'm not going to come on and interfere with the flat Earth as if they make a point that's ridiculous. You're going to have to know your stuff. And then he said something about you're also not going to do that for the ballers either. So it implied that you were going to be more neutral or impartial, but also not necessarily allow ballers to talk nonsense either. But really, you're still doing the exact same thing. I mean, we don't always agree on everything that certain flat earthers say. If somebody says something a bit silly, we just allow it. Oh, by the way, with Arwen, we just allow Arwen because Arwen gets really sensitive. He thinks everyone's bullying him, or particularly me, if I mention anything that I don't agree with him on. So yeah, we do kind of just let Arwen speak. I don't agree with Arwen on a lot of stuff. I
Me
called
neither,
him out
but
on his gravity
I like
nonsense
Arwen a lot.
on Hangout.
But what I will say is, yeah, from that perspective, you're right, because I can't remember the exact example, but roughly it was something along the lines of we were asking how a pressurized system can remain next to a vacuum, something along those lines. Anyway, Arwen said, well, I can explain it with my looping rectangular system. And I said, okay, can you show us? I went, well, no, it's a conceptual idea. And I was like, well, that's the end of that story then. And he carried on. I was like, no, shut up. I don't want to hear any more about this rectangular looping that's a concept. I want to see it. And then we have Rumpus join on and say the same exact thing Arwen did. Oh, we just have a concept of what it does. We've got a graph. And it's like, no, show me the model doing this. You've got an all-encompassing model, apparently. So let's have a look at your model. We've got a model, is what we keep getting told. A, singular. A model of Earth. And apparently they don't have a model. It doesn't do anything. So I got to shut Rumpus up with the exact same thing I shut Arwen up with.
Yeah, but Arwen didn't shut up, though. Arwen opened his own Hangout and did his own one-way conversation.
No. He carried on. I was like, no, you've just got verbal diarrhea about this now, and it's the end of this conversation if you can't show it me.
Yeah. Lenny Harry's comment was, Nathan, ridicule is required because you don't understand science, you nutbar.
All right. So, nutbar, comedy though this may be to you, we're now saying to you, I think we have a pretty good understanding of science. And your quote about religion not jiving with science, probably taken from a video 3 years ago. Yeah, whatever. I don't care. My journey is documented. People can see the progress I've made and my understanding of, specifically of, science. So you want to come on and tell me that you live on a spinning ball and that I deny science? Because in the last couple of weeks we've figured out something, Lenny, and that's that we are not the science deniers here. You are the science denier. You have pseudoscience on your side and zero scientific evidence for your spinning ball religion. Laugh that up, mate.
So Lenny still has the link in his YouTube inbox. We still have no Lenny on the panel. So the gauntlet's been thrown down and there's still no sign of Lenny. So come on, Lenny, quite contrary. Where are you? Alan B, where's my link? I don't have a way to get it to you, Alan B. Are you on Skype?
Have you shared it with him on Skype?
No, I don't have a way to get it to him on Skype.
That's right. I don't want a way to get it to him on Skype, but I will share it publicly shortly. Don't you worry.
I see the hyenas were getting some some credit from Issa the other day. Did you notice?
I didn't see that.
I think Issa's adopted one of the hyenas as his pet. He was petting it on the show.
So Jamie apparently says he's got some evidence. Jamie O'Keefe says, effing idiot, flat earth videos. Spherical navigation system, lol. Photos, videos. So come on and show us.
Juan Carlos. Lenny has no proof. You won't see him on a panel. Yeah, it's a bit like that guy. There was a guy. I can't even bother telling the story. I sent him numerous private. In fact, actually, I'll send him the link now. He's American, isn't he? So he'll be up late. Let's send him the link.
Apparently, Alan says he's going to be at the conference on Saturday. Shame you can't go on Friday, Alan.
Staggerson, that was his name. Send him a link. Paste that. Join us, sir. We are live now and would love to see your views and proofs on the shape of the Earth. Staggerson Jags, if you're out there listening, I'm sure you probably have been onto the show once or twice before. You've also got a link. Let's see if we can get you in. I have sent him 3 links before, or 2 links. 1, 2, 3. I've sent him 3 links before and he's never joined. Might not be online, but he's never even responded to the message, so I don't think he'll come in. But he was one of these guys that was right at the very, very beginning of his journey. And to be honest, it was terrible how he behaved. But that being said, he was on his own turf, comfortable in his own circle jerk of friends. Let's see if we can get the guy in now.
Right, I'm going to stick the link out. So, might be hangout number 3. We shall see.
What was that? Say that again.
I'm just going to stick the link out publicly. So, Alan B, if you want to refresh your page in a minute.
Tim says, there is no debate. Time to sod off. Au revoir, Tim.
Yeah, he's right. He's proven it. Thanks for the footage of the flat Earth. Those reflections proved no bulge. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful work.
Where's the bulge, Tim? Wonder what his actual answer for that is, if we can get him an intellectually honest answer.
We asked him. I asked him directly, and he says, because the Earth is flat, okay, but what about this stuff at the horizon?
Yeah. Intellectual honesty is that, Tim? Question mark.
Hello, Alan.
Alan B.
Morning.
Morning, guys. Bit early.
It is a bit early.
Yes.
We've got the conference later.
Today.
I've only just got back from Slimming World.
Slimming World?
Yes, way in
Did you
day.
tell them about the cakes that you had yesterday afternoon?
No, lied about that, Anthony. Lost £3 now.
£3, is that weight or £3 in money?
No, you don't have to pay if you lose weight.
Oh, really?
You have to pay for Slimming World if you're an OAP.
Did you take your ball of scales with you so you were able to manipulate it with a bit of maths?
No. But anyway.
Just explain to them the boss effect. Saturday? Just explain that in a different part of the world, you're at least £4 lighter.
Because of the Coriolis force or the Atmos.
Because of the Coriolis effect.
To the North Pole.
Yeah, man. Just tell them about it, man. They'll understand. Slimmer's World. They'll get it.
Wait, if you went to the North Pole, you'd be heavier. You'd have to go to the equator, man. Come on.
I think, Tony, you'll find the weight difference is negligible.
Andrew?
No, he's just a troll.
Andrew?
He's a troll.
Okay. The weight difference would be negligible. You better tell that to Wolfie. He got a couple of. He got, was it 1.8 grams?
That's not much, though, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It's supposed to be negligible. My favourite word, that. Did you know that, Alan?
Yes, I've heard you use it quite a lot.
Yeah. Look at that, innit?
Negligible, tuft of trees, tippy top.
Tippy tops, yeah.
Water, the physics of water and how it behaves. It's
what? Oh, the actor's here.
No, that's not her. That's
recording. She was explaining about the physics of water in the small recording that she played. You know, that being that it's flat, Alan.
Is Tim coming on?
No, there's no debate here when Tim joins. He can't answer the bulge question. Tim has no bulge.
I like it when Tim does a video saying he's over it all.
Yeah, I'm off. It's like he wants everyone to say, no, Tim, don't.
You could do a little compilation, a little playlist of those,
and then
couldn't
the
you?
next day he's on.
Half a dozen or so of him saying, that's it for now. I'm not doing it no more. I'm sick of this. And then on to the next video. I'm sick of this. I'm not doing it anymore.
Yes,
3 months
brilliant.
later. I'm sick of this.
What Lenny Harry says, Debbie got kicked. No, Lenny, we're waiting for you to join. You've got the link. Why are you not in here telling us your views on the shape of the Earth? Come on, Lenny. Can't be a
more
keyboard
specifically,
warrior if you
why
can
is he not
do-
in bringing his scientific evidence of a sphere Earth? Science
if it's not
deniers he
scientific.
accused us of being, me specifically. So let's find out what you know about science and how much science has got to prove you're on a sphere. We'll see, won't we, Lenny? Or you won't join. You'll just keep bashing away at your keyboard.
Shaunders asks, why would there be a bulge in Tim's footage? Well, there would be if we lived on a ball.
Because we apparently live on a sphere. That's why. But we don't.
Yeah.
The Earth's obviously flat. That's why it wasn't there.
Yeah. The idea is that there's supposed to be a bulge between you and the object that you're looking at when you're looking at 30, 40, 50, 60 miles, whatever. And there was no bulge there.
Yeah, the
And
bulge
that proves that the
between
Earth
you
is
and
flat.
the horizon is the bulge. And that's what you can see to. So in Tim's footage, it was probably about 6 miles to the horizon. That's what you've got in your expanse between you and the thing. Then you've got drop. And yet, we see a reflection at the horizon. It's amazing.
There was plenty of bulge at Slimming World this morning.
I'm sure.
Curves everywhere, was there?
Awful, some of it.
Cankles. Cankles, right?
Yeah, they're awful, aren't they?
Oh, dear. Oh.
When they wear those slip-on shoes because nothing else fits.
But do you
Yeah,
follow,
so,
Alan?
like,
So,
what pump-
like the bulge around your fat ladies, right? There's no bulge between you and those mountains in Tim's footage. You get that, right?
How comes you could see more when he went higher, though?
So you're doing what Tim did and ignoring the obvious of the pictures and trying to detail something we explain away with perspective. So, yeah, we can look at the perspective aspect too, but for now, I'm more interested in the fact that we have a perfect reflection between you and the thing you're observing in the far distance.
Looked slightly compressed to me.
Oh, really?
Well, you would expect it to look slightly compressed because as you level your horizon, you get more and more level with the horizon, then you are going to get compression. It is going all that distance is being squashed into a very short space.
Over 100 people watching for an AM show. That's pretty good. Thank you very much to all who shared the show. Please share if you've not done so already.
Yes, good morning, fans.
Maybe have some Aussies in the audience. Kiwis, maybe. We shall see. Shout out
Where's
to all the
Ruby?
Kiwis and Aussies.
Where's Ruhif? I don't know. I guess he's doing family things. It must be a bit early for him.
It's way too early for Arwen.
Yeah, Elizabeth, yes. The new sock account. I've not seen that one before, but she didn't speak. She has to speak.
Hello, Elizabeth. Can you say hello?
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. I quite like that. Wow, isn't this entertaining? We'll wait for the little fella to tucker himself out, shall we, I think? Hello, can you hear us, Elizabeth? Got a troll infestation at the moment, guys, so if it gets a bit slow and quiet, well, my apologies.
This is what they try and disrupt as much as they possibly can.
There's nobody here, though.
We
I know.
could do this on Skype. We could have the conversation on Skype, but we leave it as an open link just to.
Welcome to the show where you don't know. No, you don't know.
Have you
No,
still
please don't. Please.
Is it not better than listening to this like broken? I mean, you can't even get. Can't even get the verse in.
This is Chris MCMXCIIII, who has basically decided that he doesn't like the show. So I've said, okay, if you don't like the show, sod off and don't come back. And then yesterday, he was begging me, literally begging me to go on Issa's show to talk to him. How unbelievably pathetic.
Well, I thought he was being more plutonic.
Plutonic?
Yeah. I think he was trying to offer an olive branch, and because you didn't accept it, that's probably a coincidence that it's doing it again today.
Bores me. The guy bores me.
I noticed how he said that on Isa's chat that he suffers with depression and anxiety and he's on medication for it, and that somebody, I didn't catch who it was, but somebody was having a go at him for it. I noticed that when he wants it to be, it's an important thing to him that people treat him nice. Yet he does things like this that don't treat people nice. Found that was quite ironic. Did you notice that, Nathan?
I think it's just projection. He's suffering with anxiety, so he's trying to cause anxiety in others, and just not appreciating that in actuality it doesn't cause me any anxiety. It just means I've got to fiddle around with a few buttons. It's not really that much of an issue. Occasionally I have to start a new hangout. It causes me about a minute and a half's work. So, you know, if he feels like he's making an achievement, then good for him.
And just remember, we could put this straight onto Discord or onto Skype, but it's here because we allow you to do it.
Right, it's here because I want the link public. That's why I want it.
Well, okay, but it's still, we allow him to do it. We could stop it if we wanted to.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, I mean, I could just put it on Discord and have a circle jerk, but we are inviting on anybody who feels in the chat, for instance. Like when we have people say we are science deniers. You know, it's literally one click and you're joined, and you can tell me to my face right here, right now, that I'm a science denier. You science denier, we already know it's a sphere. Like, oh, do we? Well, let's see your science then.
So we noticed that our friend, what was his name, Lenny, didn't join. And we noticed that Tim claims that he's gone to bed, and we noticed that there's a serious amount of trolling started.
Yeah, like I say, we'll let the guy tucker himself out. Bless.
Yeah.
And once he's tuckered out,
So
I'll
you
probably,
guys not going to be there Saturday?
No,
No, Friday.
No, only on the Friday. So yeah, we'll just wait for Chris to get bored while we have a rather boring conversation. One way, mostly me talking.
I don't think Chris will be out of bed yet. I think it's more likely to be Tim, pretending that he's your friend and he's nice.
Could be Grim V, you know, another little baby. Hello, Steve. How you doing?
Hello. Hello.
So yeah, might as well do another plug for the UK convention. So this evening at about 8 o'clock, we will be on stage detailing an exclusive capture by Anthony, which has not been released to the public as yet. So make sure you tune in. Tune in? I don't know. Will it be broadcast, do you know, Anthony?
I believe it's being recorded and being presented on Globebusters, but it could be being live streamed.
Oh, cool.
I'm not
So you might be
entirely
able
sure.
to tune in. Well, either way, if you'd like to see us on stage live or shake our hand or hear what Anthony has to present, most importantly, get yourself a ticket. www.flatearthconventionuk.co.uk. Go and buy yourself a ticket. Alan's already done so. Good to know. I'm pleased you're going to be there, Alan. Actually, it's nice to know that there's going to be a few ballers joining us.
Yeah. So I'm going to get a lift there and back.
Excellent. You said you couldn't get a lift for the rest of the weekend. That's a shame. Yeah. Like I said many times, I'm not too fussed about seeing what you look like, but it would be nice to actually shake your hand because you've been on the panel, you know. It's nice to actually meet the people who take part, and you're one of them, so that's good. I do actually genuinely appreciate the support. Even of pathetic people like Chris, who's a big baby.
Sorry, Nathan, I can't hear anything over the sweary thing.
I think it's going to be one of those shows. So, Steve, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Are you? Which side of the debate are you on?
I do have a clear side, but do I have to say it? Is that one of the conditions?
Not really, no. It just helps if we know whether we're going to be.
Well, let's just assume then that yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So go on, you convince me then.
Measurable curvature, gravity, axial rotation.
No measurable or observable curvature, he said.
Axial rotation or gravity. Wouldn't
So
you?
how could you detect that?
Can't detect any of those things as much as the audience can only hear little bits and pieces of what you're saying. But yeah, axial rotation, we've gone through this. You know, Coriolis effect. Ultimately, it's full of assumptions, full of assertions. None of it's proved by anything. You can't prove that the Earth is spinning.
But isn't the Coriolis effect used by long-range artillery
That's
in order
correct,
to
Steve.
calculate the target and the trajectory to the target? Isn't that correct?
Anything over 1,000 yards.
Yeah, that's what I'd seen as well. Yeah. I mean, how would you answer that?
I'd ask for your evidence that shows it.
There's plenty of videos on YouTube, Tony.
No, but I have a friend who actually was in the snipers. And look, you'll miss, otherwise you'll just miss. Even if there's no wind.
Either way, there are new.
Bisley gun range. Hire an instructor and prove it to yourself in perhaps 30 minutes.
Really?
Yes.
So if I went to a firing range, and I would be more than prepared to do this, you would still basically. So how far would it need to be fired for the bullet to be able to?
1,000 yards.
1,000 yards.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I did that and then showed, say, 10 shots where we aimed it for the center.
Yep. The thing you want to do is you want to shoot west and then directly east.
No, you need to do it north and south.
South is east and west.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is because of the axial.
Firing your bullet north or south, not east or west.
No, east or west, the difference.
No.
The Coriolis.
That's not right, Alan. You need to.
No, this is
So I'm having to mute the hangout continually, so half of what you're saying isn't getting out to the audience because Chris has decided that he wants to make sure that no one can hear anything. So if Chris can't be heard, no one can be heard. So this is what Chris does. Because Chris thinks his boring rhetoric that he presents on places like Discord, on Gemini's shows, he thinks that's really important to be heard here, because it won't be, ever, again. He thinks he's just going to stop absolutely everybody from talking continually. Hello, new guest. How you doing?
Yeah, I had somebody with the name Outblock Unblockable or something like that.
Outbound.
Outbound Unblockable.
So Sleeping Warrior, like, given what Alan B was just saying, why didn't you do that experiment? Because that seems like you could kill the globe if you did that. If you did a fair test, which was like...
That'd make a good video too.
I understand it is that the Coriolis force, because of the rotation of the Earth, would affect bullets that are fired north. So why is it the other way around?
Why do you think?
Yeah, looks like this is going to be how this show rolls today, unfortunately, guys. Chris has decided that we're not allowed to talk to each other. So, well done, Chris, ruining it for everybody in the audience because you are a massive wanker.
I think it's Tim, to be honest. I don't think Chris is out of bed yet. It'll cause Tim off guard and Tim won't be in bed yet.
Who knows?
Yeah, do the test sleeping work.
Yeah,
That's
that'd make a great video, Tony.
Well, we need to establish what the test would be, because the way I understand it, it should be a north to south firing, not an east to west.
No.
Why is it east to west?
Yeah, but it's not going to be difficult to find out that there's a general consensus on which way it is, because it's actually utilized by militaries around the world. So it's not going to be difficult. And I know that it is one direction it will work and one direction it won't work. So just find that out and then go with the doctrine, as you would call it. Go along with it, make it a fair test, and see what results you come out with. And if you detect no Coriolis effects, then how can people argue with that?
Well, they will argue with it because it's me.
No, they won't. If you
They will.
take some globers, do a fair test, make sure that you follow, go through the method and make sure that you eliminate all confounding variables, do what you can to make sure it's a fair test.
How'd you do that? How do you eliminate all the other variables?
Well, I mean, in as much as you can, within reason.
Right, as much as you can isn't the scientific method. You need to isolate a single variable. That would be your independent variable. And that variable is the cause of your effect, the dependent variable. So isolating as many as possible, that's not science. That doesn't eliminate it from being the other variables in the test.
You need to be realistic. You can't create a 10-mile long tunnel in order to do it, and that's just not within the bounds of reason. So we need to try and eliminate. And if there's still a very strong thing which proved it to be flat,
you don't seem to be
even
listening.
though there were some, even though there are some maybe confounding
You're not listening,
variables,
Steve. You're not listening.
Right?
Trying to, that's not good enough. The scientific method dictates that you must isolate it to a single variable, and that's the end of that story. So, you can't just claim that by having, we've got a few variables and we can't really isolate all of them, so we'll have a good go at isolating them to the best of our ability, and then we'll make our conclusions based on that. Well, that's just nonsense. That's not scientific in any way, shape, or form. So, if you want to do that, you can, but it proves absolutely nothing.
And the other thing is, of course, even if we did do that, it would never be accepted anyway, because literally their argument would be that I faked it in some way, that I lied about my observer height, any reason whatsoever to try and discredit the individual, and they will do it. So what would be the point when we know that we can't control the temperature of the gradient that the bullet's firing through? You can't make that a constant. You can't control the amount of pressure between the 2 points. You can't control the amount of wind. So they're all things that do influence the flight path of the bullet. You can't guarantee that the spin of the bullet coming out of the barrel are the same each time. They should be the same, but you can't control it because you do get stray bullets. So the flight path of the bullet is affected by many things, and you can't guarantee it's going to go. You can't control them all. So the Coriolis force isn't something that you can measure with with a bullet. But I'd love to do it. But even if it come back with a positive or a negative result, the reality is it would never be accepted by anybody because it's got too many variables, or because it's me, depending on which side of the fence you're on.
Indeed. And it's not down to us to prove Coriolis. This is a ridiculously outrageous claim, and if you want to make outrageous claims, you have to be the one to prove them. If you want to claim the Earth's spinning, you're the one who has to prove it, not us. We'd have to disprove it.
So, how do we get Alan B back?
I'm struggling to hear it at the minute, actually. There's a lawnmower going by.
Yeah. Alan B, if you want to add me onto Skype using the thingy, the address that I usually give. I don't know if it'll allow me to post it in chat, but I'll try. Alan B, I've left you a message in Skype. If you want to add me on Skype, I don't mind adding you to my call. And then you can rejoin the Hangout. Steve, if you want to add me on Skype, you can add me on Skype using the email address I've just provided. It's only a Hotmail account. It's just the way that they use Skype. You can join again. You and I were both removed from the Hangout by the people that We were giving them time to join. It's all part of the game, unfortunately, but it is what it is. This is what they think that is funny. They think they get kicks from it. I personally think it's Tim. I don't think it's Chris. I don't think Chris is out of bed yet because he'd have been caught completely off guard. But we know that Tim was up, and we know that Tim was saying that he's leaving because there was no debate.
Well, despite all the disruptions, the link is still public, so people can still join.
Ruhif says... I said, okay. Ruhif says, let's get down to the bottom. I got schooled by Rumpus, by the way. There is Coriolis east to west. I'm not 100% sure on it yet, but I think I agree. I'm going to do a Coriolis test in Vegas later this year. I think next time Tim joins, Nathan, you should ask him point blank, are you in any way responsible for this nonsense? I'm pretty sure this one's Tim.
I don't care. Like I said, every single time this conversation comes up, I've said, well, I want to show the kind of obfuscation that we have to deal with. So we're on here saying, oh right, chat commenter, we're a science denier, there's the public link, feel free to join, present your scientific evidence. And then what do you know, troll infestation. They don't want us telling people that they have no scientific evidence for a sphere Earth. And they don't. Yep. They don't have any, and no one's going to ever be capable of joining and presenting that to us. It is a philosophical position. You do have a religious belief in a sphere Earth that spins. It is nonsense.
So, I'm just looking to see.
Yeah, I really need you to cover this dead air because there's a lawnmower going by again.
It's okay. Yeah, okay. I can cover the dead air, but I'm just seeing if there's anything that claims that there is no scientific proof for the shape of the Earth, even if it's tongue in cheek, because it would be really interesting. Nick has no L, but how to reason with flat earthers? You don't need to build a rocket to prove the Earth isn't flat. 10 ways you can tell yourself that the Earth is not flat.
So Was says, maybe move on to analysing the flat Earth then, maybe. No, I think we had a good, solid stint of actually going through evidence of the flat Earth, which we presented, and it was scrutinised a lot. Hey, Alan, can you hear us?
Good morning again.
Good morning.
Hello. How have you joined?
Through the public link. It's still public.
Oh, right. Well, it wasn't me that removed you, Alan. You know that, right? What we should do then is leave the hangouts for the ballers and let them enter if they choose to. For everybody else, just let them not go in the hangouts, because everybody else that can have the conversation, that's not afraid to challenge and question the evidence, can go in somewhere that's considered to be relatively safe. That's what I think we should do. But anyway, so Alan, you realise that I didn't remove you, yeah?
He's already been removed by one of the trolls, so like you anticipated, it eventually reaches a point where they've just gone postal. Just shoot everyone. It doesn't matter if you're Globe supporter or not. Just don't let anybody talk to them. If they can engage us in conversation, they can make us look stupid. If you engage them in conversation, we'll obviously end up looking bad. If you can engage them in conversation, you'll just end up with them telling us that we've got a religion and we haven't got any proof, and let's just not let them talk to anybody. That's probably the best move.
It's interesting because one of the main motivating factors to keep the link public is Tim's complaint that it's just a circle jerk. It's just an echo chamber.
Hiya, how you doing, Level Lee? prepared to be shot in the face.
With that Coriolis bullet.
That's the one that proves nothing. That's not isolated. It does in no way prove we live on a spinning sphere. So what time are you getting down to Birmingham, Anthony?
Set off about 2ish. Get there before 4. Because you don't want to be on the motorway or anywhere near Birmingham at 4. Anything beyond 4. 3 o'clock's pushing it, really. M6 on the M3 from 3 o'clock on a Friday. You don't want to be on the M6, but I don't want to get there dead early either. Getting there too early is just not as good because of the dogs. So I need to kind of economise my time the best I can.
So what time does it all kick off, though? What time were we supposed to be there? Have we actually been given a time to be there?
No, I haven't.
But what time are you expecting to be there for?
4 o'clock. What time are you thinking of getting there for?
I was going to ask you. That was my plan. I mean, we're basically having a Skype conversation on air now, which is fine. But hey, P Mars, how you doing? It's a fake P Mars.
Yeah, I was planning on getting there for about 4. I believe that the slots between 7:30 and 8 might be 7 and 7:30. Don't quote me. But ultimately, I'm planning on getting there at 4.
4. Oh well,
Yeah.
you'll definitely be there before me then.
So I've just been sent a message by that Saunders K. Add to call. Let's see if we can get Saunders K in the chat. Because he's got some scientific proof, it seems, of the shape of the Earth. See if he joins. Probably won't. If he joins, then I'll present his evidence that he's submitted to me so far.
As soon as he comes online, make sure you explain that he's part of a live call. No, he's not going to join. Of course not.
He says, he sent me some picture and he says, you should critique this.
No, come on, Saunders. Jump on the call. You can present your screen with your picture and you can tell us all about it.
Yeah. Even his 9-year-old is smarter than you, Nathan Oakley. Why don't you critique this?
So you can come on and tell us what it proves and then we'll critique it.
Saunders K is typing. Nah, it's just a gag. Never said anything about proof. Nah, but you are happy to troll though, aren't you, Saunders?
Oh, so he's claiming it's not proof. Oh, well, then we can just ignore it.
Nah, it's just a gag.
Yeah, we can just ignore that then, by the sounds of things.
So I don't think Saunders is going to join. Well, the invitation's there for you, Saunders. You can join if you wish. You can tell us your views on the shape of the Earth and the evidence, of course, that you accept that proves that we live on a ball. It's literally from your 9-year-old. Yeah, but if you're prepared to accept evidence from your 9-year-old that purports the shape of the Earth, I don't see the problem with presenting the evidence from your 9-year-old. What's the problem? It'd be a really apt moment to cite the line out of what's it called? Back to the Future that Biff always cites against Marty McFly. Are you chicken? He's not stating its evidence. Sorry for your confusion. No, but you are saying that Nathan's a bit dumb. So we'd like to see you come in and present your evidence. Present it to the chat, present it to the audience. Let's see what you've got. And you can tell everybody that you accept the evidence from your 9-year-old has got it in life. Sorted. Come on, Saunders. We're all a bit dumb. Yeah, you added to the call. You can join the chat. You can tell us all your views on the shape of the Earth. Or will you not? I mean, there's only 108 people watching. Shout out to Shroomy. No, there's 120 people watching. Is that right? Let's just check that.
Yeah, 120 people watching, which is fantastic for this time of the morning.
So come on, son. It's only 120 people. There's more people in the convention this afternoon or this evening. Come on, Saunders. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll leave you as part of the conversation, Saunders. You're free to join any time.
Or says, but you don't know what the sun is. Why can't you extrapolate what it could be? Because it could be a roast chicken. But so what? It proves nothing was. If I don't know what the sun is, I just say exactly that. I don't know what the sun is. Have some humility. Don't make up a fantasy story just because you don't know what something is.
Steve Morris. Dave Shaw's put the link up, the email address. If you just put that into your Skype, you should be able to find me.
So what says,
send a friend.
hold on, sorry. And then from that, you can do experiments to work out if it's correct. Well, my hypothesis is it's a roast chicken. So you're saying if I do experiments that prove it's correct, that it is then a roast chicken? Because I've proved it with my experiments that don't conform to the scientific method, don't isolate variables, right? No, that would be a fantasy story. You know, you don't guess what something is and then go about proving your guess correct. You formulate hypothesis after observing phenomena. That's what you do if you're trying to be scientific about it and actually provide people with proof that's useful. Beyond that, you've got a fantasy, mate. That's all you've got. You start with baseline assumptions. Jem went through it yesterday. Check out Issa Mahall's show. Baseline assumptions don't prove anything. They just mean you can start somewhere and start guessing. Well, we're not interested in guesswork. But
so
Sanders?
We do have Steve.
Steve, how you doing, Steve?
Hello.
We are live, just so you know.
Steve, I'm here.
Good to have you.
Steve, just to let you know, we are live. You understand that, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool.
So you're the guy from before, right?
Yeah.
I recognise the voice.
That's
so we were talking about rifles and shooting bullets, right?
Yeah. So why don't you do the experiment?
I just went through this with you. Hold on, Anthony. So what's the point in the experiment if it's got more than one variable in it?
Well, this is what scientists do. They try to create experiments and eliminate variables so that they can, stay true to their hypothesis and come up with a result.
So what would be your hypothesis? You need to attempt to do it. Hold on, Anthony. What would your hypothesis be in this experiment?
Will the bullet stray over a long distance when I shoot it?
Sorry, a hypothesis contains two things: an independent and a dependent variable.
But you understand what I'm saying there, don't you?
No.
We're going to fire a gun.
Listen to my words. I asked you what your hypothesis was for this test. Okay. A test.
Oh, so you don't understand that?
No, I understand that you are a retard that doesn't understand what a hypothesis is. What is your hypothesis? It should contain an independent and a dependent variable. What are they?
Hang on. Right. Let's go a little bit lighter on this guy. It's the first time he's joined. Let's not go too heavy on him.
This retard thinks you can shoot bullets and prove the Earth spins. So I'm going to point out that he's a retard and he hasn't isolated any of his variables. If he wants to tell me that I don't understand his retarded, moronic, non-scientific test, I will tear him a new arsehole live on air.
Sleeping Warrior, who's this guy?
I'm the host of the show. My name's Nathan Oakley. I'm the one calling you a retard for not understanding that your test with bullets proves nothing. It is not in any way an adherence to the scientific method. You have not isolated your variables. It proves
you
nothing.
haven't let me finish the sentence yet, have you? No, you haven't let me finish the sentence. And you're the host of the show.
What is your hypothesis for your experiment?
No, I mean, we were talking about firing a gun.
Yeah, I understand what your experiment is, firing a gun. So what's your hypothesis?
Okay, so we're going to fire a gun over a very long distance. And the hypothesis is, will the bullet hit the target?
That's not a hypothesis. I'll explain it again because you are dumb. A hypothesis contains an independent and a dependent variable. What is your independent variable, please?
Can I just say, I agree with Nathan. What Nathan's doing is
He's for real.
Yeah, I'm for real, mate. I'm asking you what your evidence proves, you utter retard. And you are asking me whether or not I understand your non-formulated...
I don't think you...
What is your problem? Why are you talking while I'm talking?
No,
You're asking if I'm for real, I'm telling you.
No. No, I don't think he understands what the experiment is, because I can't even finish a sentence. And
so tell me,
talking about is, do you have this and do you have that? And
what is an experiment? Tell me what an experiment is.
He says he's the host of the show.
What's an experiment? What is an experiment?
An experiment is something that anybody can do. It's a routine, or you might say, or it's a series of actions which you might perform in order to prove a point or deduct something from this happening. You can't not use the word experiment and define what the word experiment is.
Let me tell you what the first stage is.
Wrong. Let me tell you what an experiment is. An experiment is your hypothesis test. Why are you talking over me? Your hypothesis test.
You're talking over me, actually.
Your hypothesis test. That's what an experiment is. It's a hypothesis test. That's why I'm asking you what your hypothesis is.
Nathan, wait.
Bit angry.
I don't think this guy.
Nathan, remember, you're on step 2, though. You haven't dealt with step 1.
He said his observed phenomena is shooting a gun. I know what his observed phenomena is. Step 1, observed phenomena of gun being fired. Right?
Yeah.
So what's your hypothesis? What's your independent and dependent variable?
Nathan, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we hear you.
What you need to do is fire the gun north, okay, and then observe the drop.
What's your independent hypothesis? Are you a moron?
Whoa, relax.
I thought you said it was east to west before, Alan.
No, listen, Tony. Fire it north at a line or a target, observe where the bullet hits, and then fire it east and then west, and observe where the bullet hits on the same plate on a line, and you'll notice there is a difference between the west and the east shot.
Wowee, what does that prove? What's your hypothesis?
Excellent articulation there, Alan B. Excellent.
It wasn't, it was wrong.
Sorry, are you two going to wank each other off while you
spot
tell
on.
each other what a
Absolutely
wonderful
spot
experiment
on.
you have that proves
was
nothing and
brilliant.
ignore
That was
the
brilliant.
point
Finally
that
to
it
hear some
isn't
sense
an
for once.
experiment if it doesn't have a hypothesis, which is
You just talk too much.
an experiment is a hypothesis test.
You talk too much.
Come on,
Yes.
Stevie.
Well, the Coriolis effect affects the horizontal component of the bullet trajectory.
So what's your independent variable? What's the cause?
The cause is the spin of the Earth.
So can you control and manipulate the spin... Shut your mouth! Can you control and manipulate the spin of the Earth, Alan?
Somebody get him a biscuit.
Can I what, Nathan?
Control and manipulate the independent variable. That would be the Earth turning.
No. But you
No!
already know.
So it's not a variable then, you idiot.
Whoa, relax. It's
Not
Friday.
relax.
You're
You
ridiculous,
idiots. Come on and tell me that I don't understand your bullet firing experiment.
Don't understand
Then I
anything
point
back
out,
to it.
while this retard talks over me, that you don't have an experiment, you don't have a hypothesis, and you have observed the phenomenon of a man-made gun being fired. You are all retards.
Yeah, everyone in the world's a retard except you.
You are a retard because you don't understand
Okay.
science. You are
Okay, nasty
a
little man.
science denier. You think you
Nathan,
can control
Nathan.
I am a
multiple
science denier.
variables. That makes
are a
you
science
a
denier.
science denier.
Nathan, how do you think people actually hit targets if they
Sorry,
don't take
you've just
this
told me
into
that the
account?
spinning Earth is an independent variable, Alan. You don't have a horse in this race anymore.
I do.
No, you don't. You are an
Want to make a
idiot.
video with
You
Tony?
think
Be a
that you
great
can
day out.
control the Earth
Please
spinning as an
worry. Are you
independent
explaining this,
variable.
what this guy's
That makes
saying?
you a moron. It means you don't understand science. It makes you a science denier because you thought his experiment was scientific. So, Alan, I'll say it again. You don't have a horse in this race because you are a
do.
science denier. Globehead, idiot, fantasist, religious, belief-holding science denier.
Oh dear.
Yeah, oh
It is a
dear, it's a
deni-
terrible
it is a
situation
denial
to
of the
find
scientific
yourself in
method,
as a
not to
religious
follow
zealot
science
and a science denier, but that's the situation.
Well, Tony, we could shoot to the north. We could shoot to the
No,
east. Shoot
this
to
is
the
not
west.
an experiment that proves
We could
anything.
observe
You
the
can do
differences.
this nonsense, but it proves nothing, Alan. Do you get it?
It doesn't.
Are you listening?
Yeah, I agree. It wouldn't prove that the cause is the rotation of the Earth. At best, it would simply show that the weather conditions are variable between you and the angle
No,
that you're firing.
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't,
Discount
because
the
it would
weather
be
conditions,
consistent.
Tony.
It would be a consistently measurable change every single time, and you'll be able to predict it. You can't just say, "Oh, this is some localized weather thing that's
So,
happening
okay.
sporadically all over the
Okay.
globe," and yet they consistently marry up with one another.
Okay, so
That's
is
just
there
absolutely bizarre.
is there any evidence that
Think
you can
about it. You
cite?
need to think about it.
Sorry,
Is
we
there
don't
any
need to think
evidence that
about
you can
anything.
cite
We're
to
asking
do-
you how this proves the Earth's spin, and when you boil it down to an actual experiment, not that you've presented that, we very quickly find that your independent variable is the spin of the Earth, something that you as a researcher cannot control or manipulate.
No, but you would have to concede that there was a variation in the bullet's trajectory, and that you were
Right,
able
that's
to
what
predict
science
it. That
does.
is what we call the
Science
Coriolis
is
effect.
used to
It's into your
control
head.
variables, you idiot.
Are you a moron?
Are you a moron? Do you not understand what science is, you bloody globehead
Yeah.
idiot
Did you hear the
science
echo?
denier?
Did you hear the echo?
Be a good day out, though, Tony.
Yeah, it would be a
Sorry,
good day
let's
out.
just get this rounded out. Do you retards understand that you cannot control your independent variable in your experiment yet? Or
We
do I
don't
need to keep
The
pointing it out
independent
to you?
variable is known.
I just went through it, and then you started asserting that you can just fire a gun north,
You
Alan.
hear something different.
That makes
Alan
me
said-
think you
Alan
haven't
said exactly
understood
what he said was
that you
right.
cannot control your independent variable in your non-experiment experiment.
Nathan, suck it up. Alan is correct.
Suck up the fact that you are a retard, Alan. You are a science denier, and you have a religious belief. You absolutely do not have an experiment. What you have is conjecture, a little game that you play with guns. That is not in any way an adherence to the scientific method. It does not in any way prove that the Earth spins, because your independent variable, the cause in your cause and effect relationship, is in no way controllable by you.
We don't need to control it. We know
So
what.
what?
You need to control it because it is the independent variable. I don't mind pointing out just how dumb you are, Alan, and giving you the same tongue lashing I give everyone else when they don't understand this. You are moronic. To say that you don't need to vary your independent variable is simply moronic. You are a globehead science denier.
No. If you had it your way, no one would perform any experiments at all, because
My way is not my way. I am telling you the method of science. That is not my way. That is the scientific way, you retard globehead science denier.
No. You want to be able to control every particle in
I'll
existence.
say it again for the hard of hearing. I don't want to control anything. The scientific method dictates. That is how you perform a scientific experiment. You globehead
Let's be
retard
clear.
science denying idiot.
As soon as somebody brings up an experiment, he started to say that you can't control every single element in the system. You can't control it all. Therefore, it's
Then it's not science, you complete retard.
He's right.
Well, I guess we could take the spin of the Earth out and just use the position.
Oh,
And shoot east
so
and
what would
west.
that be proving then? If position,
It would-
then Coriolis effect?
Yes, because
If
you shoot
position,
north,
so what the smeg does your position have to do with the shape of the Earth, you complete idiot?
Because it affects the azimuth and the angle of the bullet, whether it's going north, east, or west, or south. And there's an observable difference in the west, and there's an observable difference in the west, in the east. That's measurable.
You know what an azimuth is?
Yes.
It's a measurement in a spherical coordinate system. You are now
Yes.
begging the question, you complete retard. So because I've said you can't isolate your variable, you've just decided to beg the question and assume it's
No,
a sphere already.
But if you're laying up,
So we are begging the question now. That is what you are doing, you complete idiot. You science-denying globehead moron.
oh, this is just abuse.
Yeah, abuse of science deniers. who tell me that it doesn't matter if we can't isolate all the variables. No, that makes you a science-denying globehead moron.
Let's just use the azimuth.
Azimuth is based on a spherical coordinate system, therefore you are begging the question. I'm not just going to assume it's a globe just because you've decided to use a coordinate system that says it is. That would be begging the question. Again, another demonstration of a religious belief that you
He doesn't
hold.
want us to meet or to do an
But
experiment.
you've got a religious belief.
No, that's you.
No, it's not
be honest,
faith-based, it's fact.
Yeah,
to be
it's
honest.
based on begging the question. You automatically assume you're on a sphere by using a spherical coordinate system, you dumb idiot.
Yeah, but that was established, and then the azimuth.
Oh,
People
well, if
didn't
it's
use
been
azimuth.
established, then we shouldn't
Okay.
we shouldn't
no,
repeat
go on,
it at
when- all right
nausea.
then, smartass.
Yeah.
When was azimuth?
Science involves systematic experimentation,
After we
not
established
just
it
a
was a ball.
continued assumption, you idiot.
No.
Systematic
We established
experimentation.
it was a ball, and then we use azimuth.
Azimuth begs the question.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
It is based on a spherical coordinate system,
you want it to be like that,
idiot.
but that's not the way it is, Nathan. No,
Oh,
you
is it
want
not?
it to be like that, so you can argue, but you're wrong. Yeah, so just get over it. Get over
Do you want
yourself.
to just prove the spherical coordinate system
Well, if you
by
let me talk-
first
when-
proving that we're
when
on a
did people-
sphere? What's your proof
did people
of us
first start
being
using
on a
azimuth?
sphere?
When did navigators start first using azimuth? When was that?
Who gives a crap? I'm asking you
Once
to
we
prove it's a
established it was
sphere.
ball, you
I'm not asking
moron.
you to
Once we
prove when they
established it-
started
No, no,
navigating
no,
anything.
no,
What's
no,
your
no, 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 no. We
what
established
is
it was a
your
ball.
scientific evidence
No,
for
no,
us
no, no,
living
no,
on
no,
a
no. We
sphere?
established it was a ball, and then we come up with the true north, which is azimuth. Get over it. Get over it. Move on. You've lost that point.
I haven't lost anything. You
Alan
complete
wins.
idiot.
Alan
You
wins.
begging the question
Alan wins.
proves nothing.
Understand it. Understand that Alan won.
No.
1-0, Nathan. 1-0.
Yeah. You guys can tell yourself
That's
whatever you
being
like.
gentle.
Delude yourselves all you like.
Okay.
So is that the
Anyway,
best
I'm
you've
going
got,
to my
guys?
cup of tea.
Firing bullets that I've absolutely tore a new one? Is that the best
You
you've
have.
got?
You've just owned yourself. You've just hung yourself. You've just owned yourself.
Sorry, did you need to say that 3 times?
Yeah, because it obviously doesn't sink into your stupid mind. I'm sorry, but it doesn't get in there. You've got to ram it in.
Take me through it. Take me through how what you
When
or
was
Alan has presented.
When was azimuth first used? Who started using azimuth first?
It is a
Please.
spherical
Thank you,
coordinate
please.
system. It doesn't matter when it's used. We're trying to prove
Thank you.
the presupposition
Thank you, please.
here.
No.
Do you understand
Thank
what
you,
a
please.
presupposition is?
Yes, I do. I understand that.
Right, do you want to prove that presupposition? That presupposition being that we live on a spherical ball. Earth. Get it? Silence.
There's no getting into you. It's never
No,
going to sink.
you're
into
not
your mind.
listening. I'm asking you to prove that presupposition. What
Everyone
evidence?
in the world is wrong.
What
except you.
evidence do
Everyone
you
in
have that we live
is
on a
wrong.
spinning ball?
It's everywhere, Nathan. You can look up, you can look down. There's proof everywhere. You can look at technology, you can look at history.
I look
you can
everywhere
at
and see
science,
it's
you can
flat.
look at
I look
mathematics, you can
everywhere
look at
and see it's
geometry,
flat.
You can look at astrophysics. You can look at orbital mechanics. you can look
Astrophysics
at
is
anything.
pseudoscience. That's
Everything
pseudoscience.
concludes that the Earth
Do you know what
is a globe.
pseudoscience is?
Did you hear what I said then, Nathan?
Do you know?
Or was
Yeah,
it
you
just
said you could look at
talking?
astrophysics, which is pseudoscience.
No, it isn't. No,
Yes,
it
it
isn't. Why
is.
would you pay
Right, so when you tell me astrophysics isn't pseudoscience, that tells me you are a retard. You don't understand what you're talking about, and you're telling me that Alan's won this conversation about a non-scientific experiment, right? No, not at all, my friend. You don't understand what pseudoscience is.
Rats, shake his hand.
No, I'm tearing you a new one. You science-denying retards.
I'm a science denier, but you're on YouTube telling people the Earth's
Now,
flat.
Nathan,
Come
you
on,
made a fool of yourself today, boy.
and bye.
What do you say, Tony?
I think Tony's gobsmacked.
No, I'm here. But give me a sec.
So
I
what
don't know
else
if
have
I'm
you
in the
got?
call or not.
What
Nathan,
scientific
you're being
evidence do you have,
rather
Dawn?
abusive.
What do you have, Dawn, to present as evidence
Where do
of
we
a
go again?
spinning ball Earth? What you got?
Well, what about their
I'm dropping out, I'm dropping
little
out, this
gun
guy-
game
this guy's
that you were
boxing
talking
head,
about? The little game with the guns.
Let's go through that again. We are trying to establish a hypothesis. That would be an independent and dependent variable, Dawn. The independent variable being the cause. and what you are trying to establish as a cause is a spinning ball Earth. Unfortunately, you can't isolate and control the spinning ball Earth, therefore it's not a variable, which is what is required in the scientific method. Science being a study of the natural world, astrophysics being
Do you want me to tell you the other
pseudoscience.
two independent variables you can use?
No, one
You don't want to hear. You don't want to
variable,
hear 'em.
Dawn. One variable, the cause. In a cause and
No,
effect
that's not the independent
relationship.
variable.
One variable.
You shoot many bullets, and the latitude is the independent variable.
So
You can
if
do
latitude,
it also with mass and
so let's just
velocity
go
of the
through it with
bullet by
Dawn.
measuring
So
it.
if your independent variable is latitude, again, we're going to beg the question, then latitude is the cause, not spinning
Right.
ball Earth.
Yeah, but it's good evidence for a spinning ball.
All
Earth, isn't it?
right, it's good evidence because I haven't understood how you've just taken this to pieces.
No, I did understand. I listened to it.
Right.
You said that
If
Coriolis is the
latitude,
independent
that's your
variable, and it's not.
that's your independent variable.
You got
latitude.
it wrong and made yourself look
So,
silly, like the guy said.
I'll ask this again. Let's just go through the same nonsense. Can you vary your latitude?
Yes.
Right. So it's your independent variable then, correct?
Right. Not like you said a minute ago.
Right. So no. I said you can't manipulate the spinning ball Earth now, can you?
You said Coriolis was the independent variable.
Oh, so you
Said
can
that's why they can't
manipulate
do the experiment.
Coriolis effect now, can you?
What?
You can manipulate the Coriolis effect.
No, you don't have to use that
It's an
as
effect.
the independent variable.
It's an effect. Not a cause.
That,
It's an effect.
that's your hypothesis.
What are you
from
talking about?
doing
You're saying
the
that your
experiment.
independent variable, the cause, is actually your dependent variable, the effect. You're a retard.
No. Latitude and mass
Yeah,
and
just
velocity
keep
of the
saying
bullet.
out these words. Just keep saying latitude and gravity. Just keep saying these words, right? And somehow
And
that will
gravity.
somehow make me think you're right. Is that what you think, Dawn?
No, I'm just telling you were wrong.
I'm not wrong. I'm absolutely
This
correct.
is
None
an
of you have presented
experiment
anything that conforms
that
to
has
the
a
scientific method.
conclusion of
None of
what-
you have presented evidence of a spinning ball Earth. What has happened here is Alan's been made to look a complete fool, as have whoever this other guy is.
We try this a different way. Let's try a different tact. The claim is that a bullet fired in different directions shows the shape of the Earth. Can we see the...
No.
It shows the Coriolis effect. Can we see the
Yes.
evidence that supports this at the moment?
Coriolis effect's dependent on us being on a spinning ball Earth, right? So therefore, if bullet being fired, then spinning ball Earth, therefore Coriolis. This is in no way anything like a scientific hypothesis.
Tony,
Your independent variable is
This is fine.
distance.
So if distance. So therefore,
the
the cause in your cause-effect relationship is not anything to do with the shape of the Earth, but in fact distance. So if distance.
The greater the distance.
There you go,
the
mate.
greater the
There's your
Coriolis
answer to
effect.
your bullet problem. If distance. Your cause is distance, mate. That's your problem. Distance. Nothing to do with ball Earth. That's your independent
yes.
variable. Distance, therefore your cause. So the cause
Nathan,
of your bullet
but
problem,
Nathan,
that would be
Nathan.
distance, according to you, you
Nathan,
complete retard.
Nathan. So you want to say it's distance. So why does the bullet go upwards to the west and downwards to the east?
I don't know. I don't care either. If
Can we see the
distance
evidence
doesn't
that
prove
that
anything
assertion
to
is
do with the
true,
shape of
please?
the Earth now, does it,
Tony,
Alan?
would you like a video?
No.
Yeah, I'd like to see
I'd
some
like a scientific
proof that
hypothesis.
that claim is true.
That establishes
Tony,
an
I've got
if and then
I've got a live
relationship.
video for you.
A cause in a cause and effect relationship. An independent and a dependent variable. So when we establish that the independent variable is distance, then that would be the cause
Nathan,
in your
the
causal
conclusion is
relationship.
Coriolis. Are
Yeah,
you
well, the
happy with
cause
the
is
spinning
distance,
flat Earth?
Dawn, according to you retards.
How do you feel about the flat Earth spinning round?
It doesn't spin. There's no evidence of spin. If you
Okay,
have some,
So
present
you're
it.
just denying the conclusion from their experiment.
No denying going on. You haven't presented any evidence.
Okay, but do you not trust this experiment can
I
be
don't
done?
trust anything that isn't a
Why don't you buy
scientific
some guns and
hypothesis.
go do the
And I've
little
just
gun
gone
game?
through about 5 times why it isn't a scientific hypothesis, Dawn. Do you get it? Science deniers. All of you.
Alan, are you still there?
No, doesn't like being pointed out that he's a science denier.
I think he's dropped. Alan, you need to rejoin the conversation by clicking the last conversation you had, and there's a button in there that says join.
So is that the end of our scientific evidence being presented by Dawn and whoever the other guy is?
It's Dave Shaw.
Is that the best you can do, Steve? Is that really the best you can do?
I'm not presenting it. I'm just explaining it to you a little
I
bit.
don't need an explanation.
But you did.
I can explain anything
said
with
the
nonsense,
Coriolis
Dawn.
effect is the
I don't need you
independent
to
variable.
explain it to me. I need you to present a hypothesis.
A cause and effect relationship. If spin of the Earth, then
The greater
It leads toward thinking the Earth might be spinning, doesn't it?
the greater the
Tell us
distance,
about your
the greater the
musings. We
Coriolis
don't
effect.
care. Do you know what? Let's just see if he's just heard what you've said, Anthony. What's a hypothesis, Dawn?
I don't know the definition.
Right,
of
let me
word, to
tell
be
you.
honest.
It's a cause and effect relationship.
I don't really trust you telling me the definition.
I don't
either, to
care
be
what you
honest.
trust. I don't trust anything. This is science. This is what can be used to prove things, right? If and then. If spinning ball Earth, then Coriolis, right?
All the
That's a
scientists are bored
hypothesis.
talking to you, so it's only philosophers like me now, Nathan.
So, you've just had me explain it to you. Let's see if you've understood. What's a hypothesis, Dawn?
I didn't listen properly. Sorry.
Say again?
It's boring.
You think reality's boring? The study of the natural world, that's science. Yeah,
this
but you
scientific
think it's
method
boring
thing from
because you're a
QE is
science
boring.
denier. You're a science denier, Dawn.
welcome back, Alan. What happened?
My browser crashed.
Oh.
So you find it boring
Well-
then, do you, Dawn? Establishing cause and effect relationships?
It's
What
a
you're
very
saying
deep,
is,
nuanced
what you're telling us
topic.
in your
I'm
experiment,
not a
or this other
scientist,
guy
Nathan.
is telling us in his
Nor am I.
experiment, is that the cause is Coriolis. Coriolis being based on a spinning ball Earth. And the cause can be demonstrated with an experiment with guns being fired. So you don't find that boring, even though it's not actually a causal relationship that you're establishing. That would be a cause and effect relationship. That would be a hypothesis, Dawn. So if you find this boring, why are you coming on saying about guns being fired in north and south and east? Who cares? If you're not going to establish a causal relationship, just go out and fire a few guns.
You got the independent variable wrong and tried to dismantle their explanation.
I listened. We
their
had spinning
experiment.
ball Earth, then distance. So, is spinning ball Earth the cause? In which case you can't vary it? No, just boring, right, Dawn?
Is there an experiment that you want to do that works with your method that you've learned from QE that could prove a spinning globe Earth?
I'm not trying to prove a spinning ball Earth, Dawn.
Or do you know one that could disprove it with QE's
I
method?
don't need to disprove it. You need to prove it.
I don't.
Oh, my apologies.
it's a
Ruhif's in the
belief
hangout.
system.
Hi, Ruhif. How you doing?
Hello.
Trust.
Is everyone,
Hello,
is
sorry I
everyone
didn't
else on
see you.
Skype?
Yeah, we don't have to disprove it, Dawn. You have to prove it.
I don't have to prove it.
Or you can just believe it if you want to.
Yeah.
Oh, good for you.
It's the most reasonable explanation, seems as you haven't gone to the edge or even looked.
Is everyone else
I'm not
on
looking
Skype
for
or something?
reasonable explanations.
Because I'm the only one here.
No, there's people
What,
on
you've
Skype as
changed
well.
your view on reality and you don't want reasonable explanations for reality?
Yeah, we want
What?
reasonable explanations that adhere to the scientific method.
He's always demanding stuff.
But you've
Oh,
never
right. So in
adhered to that
2,000 years of
scientific
globe
method
belief, you
yourself.
don't think it's reasonable to demand that there's actual proof of it in
You
2,000 years
learned
of
QE's
acceptance?
scientific method after you did your experiments. You didn't adhere to them
We haven't
yourself.
done any experiments. What experiments have we done?
You did the sun tracking rather badly.
I wouldn't
Isle
call
of
that an
Man was an
experiment. I'd call that
experiment, wasn't
a
it?
series of observations. Proves nothing.
Isle of Man, look how much you got wrong on that.
Okay. I agree.
You were,
Didn't prove anything.
you were measuring pixels of caravans pasted on top of each other. That's not the scientific method, is it?
Agreed.
But you're trying to prove your reality with it. So
Right, we're YouTubers.
you're as guilty as us.
So
Okay.
we're YouTubers, right? So we are not scientists. We are not paid to conform to science. I'm not paid to do anything. This is YouTube. They give me a couple of dollars for doing each video. So I'm not paid to be here. Let's be honest, right? The reality is you have had 2,000 years, Dawn. 2,000 years to actually come up with scientific evidence that supports your assumption that you live on a spinning ball Earth. That's what I'm asking you to present.
2,000 years. Feels
Yeah,
like
you have.
sometimes. Yeah.
The globe,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
understanding
that's
has been in existence, according to you guys, for over 2,000 years.
Yeah, but science hasn't been going for 2,000 years, has it? Proper
course.
science. Not really, not really.
Oh, God, Dawn. Don't embarrass yourself.
Okay, what science, examples of science do you know from 2,000 years ago?
You tell me what the 2,000 years of spinning ball religion acceptance has provided you as proof that you live on a ball.
You're over-exaggerating.
No, that's what you've had. We're told
it's not accepted as a religion 2,000
we are
years
told
ago, is it? It's a couple of clever guys
before Christ
saying that's what it is.
You had people who accepted with sticks in the ground that we live on a spinning ball. Right? So you've had 2,000 years of acceptance of this, with apparently the whole body of science behind it. And what have you got to actually prove it?
It was a small assumption 2,000 years ago. You can't say we'd been doing science for 2,000 years.
Still an assumption now.
So you haven't got your own experiment to disprove the spin, and you're not accepting someone's experiment that could suggest a spin.
Why would I accept something that could suggest a spin if you've had 2,000 years to already prove it?
Well, I think Alan was going to share a video with you that shows some of it.
Actually, we do have numerous experiments that do not show that there is any rotation or spin to Earth. Gyroscopes being one of them.
Nice switch, Tony. Nice switch.
I'm just addressing Dawn's last comment.
Just stating a fact.
Maybe we should watch Alan's video about the gun game experiment.
I've already gone
Can I
through
ask
this.
a question before I go?
How many times have I gone through
we're
it?
going to finish right?
We're going to be finishing in about 30 seconds, Ruhif, but you can have the last word if you want.
Sorry. Should a hypothesis explain something?
It establishes an if and then relationship.
Well, all the definitions I see of hypothesis say that it should explain something, especially the Rochester University page.
Yes, it explains a cause and effect relationship.
Right. So if I observe that weight changes with latitude, what is my hypothesis?
You tell me.
Well, I can tell you what it's not. It's not that weight changes with latitude. My hypothesis is that weight changes with latitude because of something.
Well, if weight changes with latitude, that would be your if and then relationship. If you have more beyond that, then it's not a scientific hypothesis, is it, Ruhif?
No, the hypothesis needs to explain something.
Yeah, an if and then relationship. And before we go round and round and round in circles explaining that a hypothesis explains an if and then relationship, an independent and a dependent variable, then this is a pointless conversation. If you're going to say, well, I'm going to establish if distance, then weight, but because of, then you're not conforming to the scientific method. And it is as simple as that. And with that, I'm going to say first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully for sharing this debate. And also a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. If you've not done so already, be sure to like, comment, share and subscribe. I've been Nathan Oakley and I will see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!